Kamala Harris has filmed a podcast. Kamala Harris has went on the Call Her Daddy podcast. And many of you might not even know what the hell this is, but you will call her daddy or else you're not getting any aid. Oh, wait a second. You're not getting any aid anyway. If you're in North Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee, in the path of Hurricane Helene, you're not getting any help right now. There's no one coming for you. Literally, no one's coming for you. And we're going to talk a little bit about this, but I want you to know you will call her daddy or else. And for those of you that have never seen this podcast, it's vile, it's disgusting. There's some 4-letter words that are in it. And I hope you're prepared for this. I really hope you are. But to give you a little bit of background on what this is, we're going to check this out. And this is I don't know what you want to call it, the path of least resistance. It's the number 2 podcast in America, right behind Joe Rogan. And for everybody that says Joe Rogan doesn't matter, Joe Rogan's endorsement of Donald Trump doesn't matter, I think you need to look around and re-examine some things, because Kamala Harris is a big deal, and she is going to be a big deal. Now, there's some words in here that I'm going to have to edit. YouTube doesn't like me anyway, but this is the Call Your Daddy podcast, okay? And this is Sophia and Alex. Cute girls, okay? Let's listen to this. And I'm sorry for the language.
Back at it again for another episode of Call Her Daddy. Stop being little bitches and just listen up. Little bitch boys, listen up.
It's kind of locker room talk, but for chicks. Get just as dirty.
We have a lot of things in common, but I think the one thing that draws us to each other is we're insane.
How much pussy do you eat? Are we talking one a night?
How do you guys have this much energy right now?
Alex.
So this is the podcast that the current Vice President of the United States is going to go on. She's already been on this podcast, okay? She's already been on there, right? And now I'm going to tell you why and when she was on there, okay? But this is mainstream podcasting for women. This is the number 2 podcast in America and probably the world. And it might very well break the internet.
Saying be crazy as fuck, because guys love the crazy.
I'm going to download Tinder right now and fuck every guy.
I'm very sorry for the language. I will edit that out because YouTube will probably nuke me if I don't. But this is what's going on, okay? This is where your current vice president has been while everything's going on in North Carolina. Everything's going on in the path of destruction. This is where she's been at. She was filming this podcast with these 2 girls. And they talk about a lot of stuff that should happen behind closed doors. That should happen in bedrooms, okay? That's what they're talking about. And there's Kamala Harris, or that's maybe the illusion of Kamala Harris. This is where we're at as a nation. Okay? This is where we're at as a nation. And you know what? You might be right. David says guys don't love crazy people like that. Maybe not. But hey, Kamala Harris was filming this podcast while everything was going on in the path of destruction. So let me ask you this. What's more important? You, the people in North Carolina, the people in Asheville, North Carolina? Who is more important? Is this girl power? Is that what this is? Is this girl power? Is that what we want? Kamala Harris, right? Let's play this. This will give you a little background on who this podcast is and $1 million. Is it all starting to make sense now? Why Kamala Harris went on this podcast? Right? Is it starting to make sense? I hope it makes sense to you. It doesn't make sense to me, but it makes sense to the news media. Kamala Harris is losing ground with men. How many men do you think watch a podcast called Call her daddy. Huh? Fill me in on that one, guys. Fill me in on that one. I've got to show you this, okay? So this is the tweet that really caught my eye. Kamala, let me grab a better look of that. There we go. This is the tweet that caught my eye right here. Okay? Let's see. Kamala reportedly taped an episode of Call Her Daddy, a podcast on women's sexual rights, 2 days ago, as hurricane disaster recovery was ongoing with bodies being found left and right. You heard that correctly. 1.8 million views. Okay? Here we go. And there's the article. Call her daddy. How many of you are going to call her daddy? If you don't, you're not getting any relief. You're not going to get anything. You are not going to get a damn thing. Spotify exclusive. Call her daddy. Kamala Harris. Rumors are coming out now that they're not going to release the podcast because of everything that's going on. Because of the amount of money that we just decided to send to Lebanon. Kamala Harris is a president who takes this job very seriously. Huh? I think she's kind of going back to her roots or back to the knees. Honestly, I can't think of a better fit for her. This is exactly what she has expertise in. Will she just tell us how she hooked Willie? Oh, man, I love it. I absolutely love the comments. Call her daddy is so garbage and degenerate too. Okay? How many of you are subscribers of the Call Her Daddy podcast? I know there's a lot of my viewers that are this. To be fair, this podcast is pretty fitting for Kamala, right? Okay? How many of you think this? All these stories about how Kamala got to where she's at. What do you think about that? Right? Look at these comments. All it's going to take is one generation of this crap for women to grow up, have regrets, and subsequently tell the younger generations of women they got it wrong. Did they get it wrong? Did they get it wrong? Look at that. Kamala Harris will appear on Alex Cooper's Call Her Daddy podcast next week. One of the top podcasts for women in the U.S. The interview will be focused on women's productive rights. And I'm sure they're going to talk about some down south mouth hugs, right? Some techniques that might help you, right? That's where we're going with this. Heels up Harris, Hawk to a Harris, right? The comments just get better. Heels up Harris. I like that comment. I love it. What? Now it's like she's running the best campaign in the world against herself. You can't make it look worse. Look at this. Let's go this one right here. Okay. Exclusive. Kamala Harris taped an explicit Call Her Daddy interview as Helene Death Toll Rose, the unalived. Vice President Harris record an episode of the explicit Call Her Daddy podcast this week, even as the nation grapples with devastation from Hurricane Helene and escalating global tensions. Meanwhile, she continues to avoid direct questions from the mainstream media. Oh, by the way, how many of you in the chat got your $750 check yet? Huh? How many of you got that? Do me a favor. They're going to nuke this live stream. This live stream will be removed. Need you to join me there on Locals, veteranbiker.locals.com. I will upload this entire live stream there along with some other exclusive behind-the-scene content, okay? Let's get through more of this article. This is so amazing that a current vice president would go on a explicit live stream. Hurricane Helene has claimed over 215 lives, becoming one of the deadliest storms in recent United States history, with widespread flooding across the Southeast. Harris has not held a press conference in 77 days, criticized for avoiding tough questions while prioritizing appearances on shows like Call Her Daddy. Call Her Daddy Kamala. Kamala Daddy. Give me a good comment in there. Give me a good Give me a good nickname for her, right? Wow, $750. Absolutely. You're going to get your $750. Okay? It should be call her dummy. I love that comment as well. That's a good one. Call her dummy. Right? We got 3 down votes, 3 thumbs downs on the video. Thank you very much. I love it whenever we get Democrats coming into the chat. The unreleased podcast episode known for graphic content was taped this week, confirmed by an anonymous source who shared details of Harris's schedule. Wow. I love it. Bruce Wayne just became a member. Thank you. Ryan Shaheen, $3.50 super chat. I really appreciate you, Ryan, chiming in on the Cash App. Bruce Wayne's in the house. Batman, we need you more than ever. As the Southeast reels from the catastrophic impact, that's what happened. That's what's happening. You are not worthy. You're not worthy, ladies and gentlemen. You are not worthy. Thank you, David. Super chat from David. I didn't have Biden throwing Kamala under the bus on the bingo card, but man, I'm here for it. Let's see what else we can get on the ultimate bingo card. Yeah, that was yesterday. And I had to save that chat, David. I had to save that super chat because I thought it was so important that I wanted other people to see your comment. I wanted people to see exactly what is happening. Now, I want to show you this. This one should also kind of show you the entire situation. Kamala Harris will appear on Alex Cooper's Call Her Daddy podcast next week, one of the top podcasts. The interview will be focused on reproductive rights. Reproductive rights. Meanwhile, Donald Trump, leaving North Carolina right now, it was really hit hard. People are rightfully disgusted with the White House response. Worst since Katrina. Remember George Bush just flying over Katrina? Didn't even get out of the airplane. You remember that? Yeah. I do too. And that's what got, many people say, ended George W. Bush's legacy. That's how his legacy ended. And that's what a lot of people say helped Barack Hussein Obama get elected, is George Bush's response to everything.